Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. The infrastructure we need right now to support the emerging way of being, right? Like most people watching this video are aware there's a new operating system wanting to come online right now. There's a new way of being that wants to unfold through the world, through the superorganism of humanity. And what we need is the nourishment, the resources, and the information processing systems to nourish and support the supporters of this emerging way of being, right? How do we support the supporters of the emerging way of being? So the emerging way of being for me is that for every human being, basic survival needs are met, right? And we are opening up to, exploring, connecting more fully with, attuning to, and embodying more fully the beauty and the genius and the love that we all are. So what does a world look like where the collective shared North Star is all of us embodying our genius more fully, embodying our true nature more fully, embodying our beauty and our love in its boundlessness, right? What does this kind of world look like? So there's this question, and then there's also what's the bridge to that world? How do we sort of have enough scaffolding to transition from the world as it is to the world as it wants to be? So for me, we are bringing into being Light in Action, this 3-month accelerator program, an awareness-based container for people to open up to our spontaneous genius, our emergent impulse, our inner wisdom, our most profound and powerful emergence right here, right now, in the moment, and to be able to bring that into being, into manifestation through joy, playfulness, spontaneous genius, and flow as our source of fuel. And this is so critical that this is our way of, it's not just what we're creating, it's who we are as we're creating it, how we're creating it. That's so essential and so important. And then supporting and nourishing and caring for the beings and who are living life like this. I call this typically flow state is seen as a peak performance state. So what's life like when you're living in what's conventionally seen as a peak performance state, right? Like flow is a way of life, flow is a way of being. I call it metaphorically like being a professional athlete in consciousness. Like if you think of a professional athlete, they have a coach and a trainer and a therapist and a body worker, and like how do we support each other to be our most powerful, to live in our most empowered way and to move through the world being the most creative sourced potential that we can be in every moment. And so that's what we're wandering into with Light in Action, is how do we care for our fundamental well-being, tend to our genius, create concrete and subtle forms of support as we venture into the boundless possibility and potential we all are. We have regular check-ins on financial well-being, physical well-being, emotional, spiritual well-being, to make sure that we're being tended to and cared for as we leap into the unknown in a way. And this is so important right now because in order to bring this new world online, we have to be able to keep up with the speed at which emergence is emerging, right? And so we need to be able to come out of the world of thought and model making and synthesizing and mapping and constructing different possibilities and actually just get into the moment and trust these different innate intelligences that we have, and be able to connect to our truth in the moment and trust it as it has its way through us and be able to act as a vessel of really the divine ultimately. And so what is a superorganism of humanity in coherence, sourced from and infused with that kind of intelligence, look like coexisting with all other forms of life on the planet and all other beings in the universe and in consciousness? I don't know. Let's see, right? And the one other piece I want to point to specifically in this video is the other part of what we're emerging here in this larger vision. It's called Metacelium, right? Where the metaverse meets the mycelium network. We're talking about supporting the supporters of the emerging way of being. Is we've got to have a way to transform finance and finance transformation. And so we're looking at this refinement fund, the Metacelium refinement fund, and how could people be rewarded and incentivized to put money, whether it's fiat or crypto or other resources, to nourish and support the emerging way of being that are where the consciousness of money itself and how the money is received, transmuted, and then reallocated back into society is a transformation refinement process. Right, the same way we take a human being through a transformational process where we are ultimately letting go of everything that's not the truth of who we are and embodying the truth of who we are more fully. The same way that lead turns to gold, we remove everything that's not the gold. Like doing this in a fund where we can move money back into the world, move money into the Metacelium network and into the people and the projects that are supporting the emerging social fabric and emerging way of being. To do that in a way that's sourced from and infused with love, and to me just empowers and unleashes this whole the potential of this more fully. So our first iteration of this is we've got our 3-month accelerator program. And we've had an investor come in and give money to make grants possible to people who are in need of financial support, people who are 200% all in on their passion and feeling in service of collective awakening and the new way of being. We can actually not only have this awareness-based container, the check-ins on well-being, 24/7 backup available, all the I wouldn't even say the leading edge, beyond the leading edge of support for peak performance as a way of life, but we can also financially support people in getting involved with the program. So I'm just making this video to share, with you as a supporter of our project and of this wave, and anyone else who might want to join for this first cohort as an invitation to please reach out and to get in touch and share with us your passion and purpose and vision and most powerful emergence, and would love to explore any ways that we can be of support. How's that to hear, Diego?
How is it to hear? It's like I'm hearing what I connect to as you're sharing that. It's like I'm seeing the ocean of things that are already happening in the world, and I'm seeing a form of golden thread that is trying to weave in. It's as if, it's when I hear beyond the cutting edge, it's like because it's not even trying to be the cutting edge. It's just a thing that is. I get very excited about. I receive your excitement, and I get very excited also about my personal gifts, and I wish this for the world. I wish this for the world. Deep, all-encompassing support for people to take their next step. As simple as that, and as profound as that at the same time. Yeah.
hearing that, I get super curious about your genius and how you are. I mean, we're here together as we're speaking about this, so I'm curious, even on a deeper level, what really comes alive for you, um, as we're talking about being the genius that we are more fully.
Um, well, the project, I think my number one emergent thing at the moment is we both know WeFlow um, as this cutting edge way of fully supporting individuals and transforming individuals and groups, organizations, with a lot of essentially golden diamonds that are at the moment being shared one-to-one and slowly, deeply and slowly. And I see so much beauty that it's just seems it can't be that it stays with so few people as it is now. I feel very strong aliveness to just put it out there in a way that is like to share, to expand it in a way that is modular, continuous, sustainable, and open source, reaching those. Because I think also a key to what you said is something I would add to what you said is like, I don't remember exactly the wording you used, but another part of the challenge or the thing I do is to connect the resources that already exist, the people that are offering services with the people that need it or want it or yeah, that is the other key. So that is what's alive in me, very alive.
Connecting the resources with the people who need it, people who are out in the world looking for these resources and don't know where to find them.
And it's, I mean, each human being is so full of, like, we all have an incredible amount of inner resources that are often just not tapped into because we haven't learned how to. It's and so my wish for this world is that we all access the full capacity of our inner resources and use them use them for whatever we want, because I trust humans, but use them to continue bringing more heaven to earth and continue sharing, embodying, and being this love.
Yeah, and intelligence, that's the word that comes through me so strongly as you're speaking, and the intelligence we all are. I just get such a profound sense we can't even fathom what we're capable of.
It's like, imagine, I mean, I believe that there is no one person that changes the world. You know, it's even the people that we think of as the biggest geniuses, whomever that be, presidents or Einsteins, or there's always people behind them, people around them, and yet there is something to geniuses, something that is like one person can just be incredibly, mind-blowingly productive for the world. And it's just like, imagine a world full of Einsteins, a world full of forests.
Oh. A world full of Diegos. Oh, that feels like a fun way to bring. I feel complete. That's really fun. Thanks. Yeah, imagine a world full of geniuses, full of Einsteins and Forrest and Diegos.
A world full of geniuses. Yes, a world full of geniuses.
I love what you said too, like the genius of the person, the collective that's surrounded them, and then you and I do all this we space work. There's the genius between us, the genius in the space itself, the genius that reality is emerges out of and falls back into, that the genius that's woven in through everything that exists. I mean, yeah, that kind of intelligence that we can open up to and surrender into and trust more fully and let it have its way through us. And yeah, I'm excited to be supporting people who are opening up to our innate capacities to feel through life in a different way, because it takes a different way of being. It takes a different information processing systems or different ways of taking in information in consciousness itself, right? As we shift into awareness of awareness, and yeah, being an instrument, or being a well, I'll just say being an instrument and leave it there. How's that?
It's almost as if, as an individual human, it's the way in which we're constructed. I think it's almost like we can't imagine how much better things can be. We have a relationship to everything, and those relationships are usually fixed, unless there is some transformation happening, some conscious or unconscious transformation happening. But like, as you were sharing, I connect to like, I mean, you know, there's been a lot of transformation in my life in the last years, but what if every single human being could walk through life as if space is like nourishing and loving and like supporting, just a space by their, like the air by which they're surrounded by, and like fully welcoming their genius.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does become like the genius that we are, and the present moment, and the space that's holding us, and our language, sourcedness, I'll go with sourcedness, becomes our like number one source of fuel, right? Like our vivaciousness, our aliveness, our sourceness, our robustness, organicness, it's sourced in the moment, right? And it's like that becomes more nourishing than food or anything, really, in a way. I mean, I don't mean to say that the need for those ever goes fully away. I know some people say it does, but I just mean that for me, that becomes the number one source of fuel, is like, yeah, just be language, being our truth more fully in the moment. Oh, words. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for this first.
Thank you.
Every time we share space, it's just
flowing and glowing.
Yeah. May space nourish all.